Hello, everyone, and welcome to CCA's fourth annual David Roche Award for Excellence in Advocacy. We are so grateful that you're here, and thank you for bearing with us as we had just a little bit of a late start tonight. My name is Erica Klauber, and I'm the Executive Director of the Children's Craniofacial Association. I'm a white 40-year-old woman with cat eye white glasses, dark hair that is half up and half down, wearing a patterned brown and yellow bell sleeve dress. I have a facial difference on my right side that makes my cheek and my chin appear a bit fuller. And it is my ultimate pleasure to be a part of this event, which is such an affirmation of the work that we do all year long and that our community does all year and every day as facial difference advocates. We invite you to make comments on the YouTube video here so we can pop those up on the screen at some point so our live audience can view them as well. Let us know where you're watching from and which nominees you know and love. One of the most important parts of the work we do at CCA is to move the needle of understanding and acceptance of facial differences. In my 10 years as executive director, I have seen a real shift in the way that kids and students understand and accept differences. And I've also seen a sea change in our young adult community, who are owning their differences boldly and using their difference as a platform to entertain, educate, and inspire. However, we are still also fighting a battle to be understood. Also this year in 2025, I have witnessed the worst incidents of bullying and discrimination that I've seen in my entire career. This can be disheartening and downright scary at times. So in times like this, when I am trying to remain positive and see the good things and not get too discouraged, I look to our leaders and the helpers who are changing the world with their efforts. And that is exactly why we are here tonight, to recognize tonight's stars who work tirelessly all year long, creating understanding, dismantling barriers, and opening doors. Because I truly believe that when people witness the diversity of lives that people with facial differences lead, it empowers them and inspires them to dream up ideas of their own and to chase those dreams with confidence, boldness, and pride. I want our audience to know that the work of advocacy isn't just done in front of the camera. We continue to partner with organizations like Face Equality International to define facial difference as a human rights issue and push harder than ever before for protections due to people with facial differences, and to understand and claim, when appropriate, membership in and responsibility to the disability community. There are many advocates right in their own communities, organizing parent support groups, regional get-togethers, hosting fundraisers, and working to connect new parents to veteran parents, patients to doctors, and offering truly hours of supportive communication, finding ways to connect one another to resources and hope. I also want to remind you that it is advocacy to be a patient undergoing a new procedure for the first time. It is advocacy to allow residents and students to sit in on your team clinic appointments. It is advocacy to educate yourself as an ally and to learn how to support your community appropriately. If tonight you are wondering how to do that, I'm happy to say that the people you will meet tonight will happily and graciously point you in the right direction of amazing education and resources that will deepen your allyship. And in fact, it happened tonight. So thank you to this community who continually pushes us forward as well. Tonight, I want to say I'm so grateful for the work our advocates do so generously, selflessly, widely, and most often without any type of compensation. I am in awe of the stories that we read and the hearts that shared them. It's always one of my favorite experiences of the year to read these nominations, and I do wish we could read each one aloud tonight, but we will read all of the names that were submitted as this year's nominees. Each of their stories had one thing in common: boundless love. And tonight, as are all of my interactions with the wonderful David Roche, they're always about love. So now I'd like to introduce David Roche. David Roche, CM, and his wife, Marlena Blavin, are heroes to CCA. They have supported us for many years now with mentorship, guidance, volunteer work, speaking engagements, and financial support. They exude love for one another. not just as life partners, but as fully expressive humans. They truly see one another's unique brilliance and celebrate it and lift it up in the best way possible. And they continue to do that for the CCA staff and many people in our community as well. David and Marlena have made this award possible tonight, and it is my honor to introduce David, who I mentioned earlier is a man made of love. In addition to the David Roche Award, he was awarded the Order of Canada for making Canada and the U.S. a better place as an advocate for facial difference rights and as an iconic pioneer in the disability culture. He has appeared from New Zealand to Moscow to the UK, across Canada and the US, including the White House, as a humorist, a solo performer, an actor, and filmmaker. He is featured in NFB's film Shameless and is an author of The Church of 80% Sincerity. And most recently, he had a feature role as Otis in the film Happy Face. David loves working with children, and he and his wife Marlena produced the educational video Love at Second Sight, which is available at no cost at loveatsecondsight.org. He and Marlena live in Roberts Creek, British Columbia. So, David, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Erica. That was very gracious and exhilarating. My name is David Roche, and I am 81 years old. I live in British Columbia, right near the ocean, and I'm white. I was born with a vascular anomaly, which has grown over the years. That you can see it on the dominating the left side of my face, and then many other problems going along with that. Right now, I'm wearing a beautiful hoodie because it's cold and rainy up here in Canada. This is the frozen north. And my pronouns are he, him, although I like to use thee, thou, and thy sometimes too. And I feel very welcomed and grateful to be here tonight. Thank you, Erica, for your kind introduction. And I thank you, Erica, and I thank Children's Craniofacial Alliance for the incredible work that I have done with you and that namely you have done on your own. I acknowledge and thank you, Khadijah Moulton, for being outreach director, and I want to make a special thank you to someone behind the scenes. That's Annie Leaves. And Annie, I adore you and the work that you do, and my hope is that someday I will receive the Annie Leaves Award. So I'm filled with thanks, and I am pleased that I will be able to listen to the other people who have been awarded this David Roche Award and the person who's been awarded it tonight. And if you could read about the nominees, you would feel a bit stunned at how many there were, and you would feel so joyful at the description of the work that these people do. We have to pick one, but there are actually many who are behind the scenes, so thankful to them too. And I'm grateful to be here tonight because I started being a speaker 35 years ago. I did not know what I was doing, but I was doing something good. Now I see that there are many people doing something good, and you will meet a number of them tonight, and you'll meet others as we proceed with the Children's Craniofacial Alliance and the David Roche Award. I think the thing that brings me the greatest joy is the sense of community that CCA and many of these other awardees and nominees have been building. The thing that we have as people of the facial difference is we have a better understanding of the importance of seeing that we are inside ourselves, that that's where we live, that's our being. Now, I picked up that in a religious way. Growing up as a Catholic, the nuns told me I was a child of God and that I was really a soul. And I've kept that with me for a long time, and I see more and more of it in our community. So I'm grateful to be here today, tonight, and I'm looking forward to an enjoyable evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, David. I really appreciate it. And yes, a huge shout out to everyone who's behind the scenes, who makes all of these organizations work and all of these advocacy efforts work. You will meet a few of them tonight, but there are so many. And so one of them that you're about to meet is 𝐸 Dobson. I'm so grateful to have a message from her. She was our 2022 recipient, and now I will be introducing her. 𝐸 Dobson, MPH, is a motivational speaker, podcaster, author, DEI consultant, and qualitative research fellow at the Institute of Human Development at Northern Arizona University, in which her intersectional approach to systems thinking has supported organizations and their teams to advance equity and mitigate health disparities in multiple marginalized communities through community engagement, policy development, education, and advocacy. She founded the Dobson Foundation, whose organizational aim is to advance professional, health, and social equity for women and girls with disabilities. Along with the David Roche Award for Excellence in Advocacy, 𝐸 received 2 additional awards in 2022, the Fearless Woman Global Community Impact Award and the Women's History Month Advocacy Award recipient. And as we announced earlier today, we are very, very excited that 𝐸 is joining our CCA team as the incoming program director. So 𝐸, I'd like to hand it off to you.
Thank you so much, Erica, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, David, again, for your sentiments on speaking, I believe, to the beauty and the spirit of the CCA community. It has been such an honor. I have now been a part of the CCA community for 10 years. I can't believe it. I think the first time that I called the CCA office because I was like, I'm a young woman. I have golden heart syndrome. I've never met any other person with golden heart syndrome, and I just really want to find my tribe, my community. And I believe it was Annie that directed me to the CCA retreat, and then I attended that summer. And I was overwhelmed by not only just meeting someone for the first time who had a facial difference, but I was also overwhelmed that I was finally in a room in the space where I didn't feel like the only one. And so it has been my great honor to just serve in multiple capacities with the CCA community, and being able to support peers, allies of the community, other impacted individuals, and even parents and caregivers in this lifelong journey that we are all collectively a part of. As the coming in new program director, I'm excited to steward this spirit of belonging that I think CCA has just cultivated so beautifully, especially through our annual retreats, where families across the nation have just had the opportunity to come together, even families globally, as we continue to expand and advance our efforts in supporting families and children who are impacted facial differences. these gatherings, they don't just support or create memories, but I believe they nourish empathy, and acceptance and strength that carry us long after we leave. I will never forget, I can't even remember, I think it was 2015. I was at the retreat, and a group of us young adults, we were in Salt Lake, and we decided to go sky zip lining in the Salt Lake Mountains. And I never would have had the courage to do that on my own. But being surrounded by other adults with facial differences and standing in line and daring to do something adventurous and brave, despite what the world may have assumed of us, is a memory I will carry with me for the rest of my life, as well as ziplining across the mountains at 8,000 feet elevation. That was also pretty cool. Um, but I'm excited about embarking on this new role. I know it will be fulfilling, but both challenging. There are many things that I believe that I can help the community in bridging our connection to the broader disability community. And I look forward to doing that and creating more partnerships that will only advance the CCA agenda and providing more support and communities to our families, because we need that. We all need that. I believe that together we can amplify and strengthen our programs and ensure that support is available to babies all the way until the end of the lifespan. And so I believe promise is on the horizon. And knowing that I will do my best to center the needs of our communities, making sure that we are putting the priorities of our families first and getting them the needs and the support that they need on all ends. I believe CCA is well equipped to change our little corner of the world. I always like to say we don't have to change the entire world, but if we can just impact and influence the world that we each live in and make it more a brighter, inclusive, and respectable place, I feel like that my assignment here on earth will be complete. And so thank you for inviting me into this position. And send me all your thoughts and prayers, and congratulations to all of the honorees as well and the nominees for your hard work, your dedication, for all the unsung heroes. Even if your name was not mentioned tonight, just the bravery and courage to stand up and to live in the body that you live and having the facial difference that you have is enough. And so I pray that from encountering and engaging with us tonight, that you feel seen, that you feel heard, that you see yourselves in aspects of all of the different nominees, and knowing that you don't have to face this facial difference journey alone, but we are here with you, fighting for you, supporting you, cheering you on, and maybe sometimes correcting you and be like, you can do better, because that's what I believe, that's what community does. We are there to support and bring out the best in each other. So again, congratulations to all of our honorees. And I will say to the rest of you guys, let's keep doing the work that we have been doing. And I'll hand it back to you, Erica.
Thank you so much, Rashira. I love what you said just about courage. Like, being together in this community does give us courage. And I appreciate that so much. And that is what I think you'll see tonight in the cohort of nominees. There is so many different groups that are working to help us have those places, those little corners of our world that are better for us, that are safer for us, that are places we can try new things and experiment and find our own courage. So thank you for highlighting that as well. And I do truly hope that CCA, specifically our retreat, but other places that we curate, are places where you can step out and find that inside of yourself in a comfortable place with supportive people, which is a perfect segue into our next speaker and past awardee. She is one of those people I mentioned earlier in the top of the hour that I have seen take on the adult community and live so proudly and so boldly and live that courage to be yourself out loud. And that is Aaliyah Booker. Aaliyah is a facial difference advocate and disability advocate. She's a recent graduate from St. Peter's University in Jersey City, New Jersey, with a bachelor's in biology, aspiring to do many things and someday work in the medical field. Aaliyah's mission in life is to forever share her story in different aspects and to inspire young kids and teens out there who look different, that we are more than just our differences. She also ran for Miss New Jersey, USA in the beauty pageant, making history by being the first woman ever with a facial difference to compete and perform. Aaliyah excitedly has started her own business, Born to Stand Out, that focuses on self-love and acceptance. You can find her on all social media platforms, celebrating her uniqueness, especially on YouTube, interviewing others within the facial difference community for them to share their stories as well as their accomplishments. She currently serves as the CCA Community Engagement Specialist, and she is such a joy and an inspiration to work that it's always a pleasure for me to hand it off to Miss Aaliyah Booker.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Miss Erica, for that wonderful beginning. Oh my gosh, guys. I'm so excited to be here again. Like, this is such a joy to be here today, not only as someone who has had the honor of receiving the David Roche Award in the past, but also as someone who continues to be inspired by this incredible community. When I received this award, it wasn't just recognition of my advocacy. It was a reminder that all of our voices matter, that our stories matter, and that change is possible when we stand together. It was truly a call to keep pushing forward, to keep amplifying more voices, and to keep demanding a world where difference is not just accepted, but is embraced. As a Black Hispanic individual with a facial difference, this mission is not abstract. It is personal, it is urgent, and it's my life. Growing up, I rarely saw people who looked like me in leadership, in the media, or in the advocacy spaces. That invisibility made me question where or even if I even belong, you know? But let me be clear. I belong. I belong here. I belong in leadership. And I belong in every room where decisions are being made about our community. Standing here today, speaking here today, I claim that belonging, not just for myself, but for every child, every family, and every individual with a facial difference who deserves to be seen, respected, and celebrated. My confidence did not appear overnight. It was built from within, rooted in the foundation of my family, strengthened by my faith, and come on now, CCA! They reminded me that my difference is not a weakness to overcome, but a light to carry. That foundation is why I'm unapologetically myself. In my role as a community engagement specialist for CCA Kids, I have the privilege of hearing stories from families, medical professionals, advocates, and individuals living with facial differences. Each story is powerful, each voice is necessary, and together they prove that diversity of appearance is not something to overcome. It is something to be valued and to be celebrated. Representation is not just important, it changes how people see themselves, how the world sees us. And first off, I want to begin to thank CCA for everything they do. You guys seen it all. You guys seen me from the beginning and now to now. And it's truly a blessing to see my progress, to be here speaking to you guys, continually inspiring anybody I speak to. This organization is not just about resources and programs. It's about hope, belonging, and visibility. They have built a space where individuals with facial differences and their families know that they are never alone, and where this world is reminded of the beauty of appearance diversity. That work is powerful and it is urgent, it's vital. And to this year's nominees, let me say, you all are trailblazers. Each of you in your own way has taken your experiences, your talents, your courage. Let me say that again, your courage. And use them to open.
We have been having some technical difficulties, so we're just gonna hope that I don't know, I think it is a tech glitch. That's what I'm seeing. I think it's Aaliyah's. I'm still live here. Thank you to our interpreter. She always gets me fired up. So fired up. I agree. I love how she said we belong. And on that note of thanking CCA, I also want to thank CCA. And I want you all to know that CCA is not me. It's not our employees. It's not just our board of directors. CCA is a community of people striving together. So if you want to be a part of that, you are welcome to help us as we strive together. That is our goal. And when we say we thank CCA, I never wanted to appear as, self-congratulating or giving ourselves awards. It is about the forum and the place that we have created together. And you can absolutely come in and be a part of that co-creation. So hopefully we can get 𝐸𝐬𝐬 back. But for now, we'll keep the program rolling because I know so many people are ready to see their beloved nominees come up. So next now, I'm going to move on to our wonderful outreach director, 𝐃𝐚𝐯𝐢𝐝, who is sailing on the very rocky surf of this technical glitch tonight. She is here to talk a little bit about our Speakers Bureau program. 𝐃𝐚𝐯𝐢𝐝 is our outreach director, as I said. And in addition to doing nearly 100% of our graphic design, social media, print material creation, a large part of her job still is working with speakers and advocates and training interns. 𝐃𝐚𝐯𝐲 is passionate, organized, and deeply thoughtful. I value her judgment, perspective, and work ethic immensely. And it is always a joy to work with her as she advises us and helps us. 𝐃𝐚𝐯𝐲 embodies the word allyship in so many ways, and I am proud to turn the mic and camera over to her tonight to talk a little bit about her program, the Speakers Bureau.
Thank you, Erica, and thank you for the beautiful introduction. I'm truly grateful for all of your kind words and your continuous support over the years. Definitely could not have done it without you, so thank you. And then you, better than anyone else, know the incredible effort and the hours and the heart that CCA has poured into the Speakers Bureau and how many changes it's gone through since its inception back in 2018. But I want to begin by extending our deep gratitude to the Ananda Foundation for their dedicated support for our outreach programming, and to the many mentors who have guided us along the way, especially David Roche and his wife, Marlene Blavin. The power of the Speakers Bureau. So many of you know that CCA's Speakers Bureau was founded back in 2018 with one goal, and that was to create a genuine platform for CCA kids and adults to share their stories, their professions, their passions, their interests, and their personal stories with the world. And this isn't just about sharing stories. It's about empowerment. The Bureau provides focused training and guidance, equipping our speakers with the resources they need to go out and educate the general public through speaking engagements. Our speakers now receive an honorarium for their time and their skills, and the fee that we charge the organizations and the schools is actually also a portion of that is reinvested into our Speakers Bureau program. That way that we can ensure that the Bureau continues to grow, and a portion of that is invested back into our scholarship program for speaking engagements. While we can't always capture every amazing moment our speakers create, the numbers tell an impressive story. And we've reached nearly 17,000 students alone through speaking engagements, and almost 87,000 through our Choose Kind initiative over the past 7 years. These numbers are encouraging, but the true impact of the Speakers Bureau is not measured in these tallies. It's measured in the interactions. It's in the moments that students' perspectives shifts, or when adults' empathy sparks. When our speakers share their journey, they are not just educating. They are actively challenging stereotypes and building a more inclusive world, one conversation at a time. Personal experiences and face-to-face interactions have a profound and lasting effect. They create a real bond. Audiences are simply much more likely to empathize with and retain information when it's delivered by someone with a lived experience. This is the feedback that we hear constantly through classrooms, libraries, corporations, and every organization that hosts our speakers. And all of that is to say that I am very excited to be here today and to celebrate another year spent among so many individuals who have dedicated their time and their efforts to the work of advocacy. We all share the common goal of creating a more inclusive and informed world for those living with facial differences. And it's an honor to be celebrating another year, celebrating David's legacy of broadening acceptance and inclusion. So thank you all for being here with us tonight. And thank you for, sorry.
We're going with it, guys. We have had one thing after another, but Khadijah, thank you for explaining that, this process in this program that we have. And we are excited now to go into explaining how we award this amazing award. So we start collecting nominations each year in the summer. And we have these guidelines as the following rules for nominations. And that is the David Roche Award for Excellence in Advocacy is an annual award bestowed on a speaker, educator, storyteller, artist, medical professional, or family member in the facial difference community who has gone above and beyond to advance the status of people with facial differences, promote acceptance and appreciation of appearance diversity, and to challenge the stigma that surrounds physical difference. This award is named in honor of David, who you got to hear from tonight. And it is for his lifelong dedication to opening minds and connecting hearts. David is a champion of love, as we have established. He seeks to break down barriers and build bridges between communities. David has always shown to be an incredible listener who, after years of finding and honing his own voice, has lifted thousands of others' voices and helped them access their own truer authenticity and reach new audiences. David cultivates confidence and creates space for conversations, which is a thing we need more than ever right now. And his core characteristics of warmth, wit, and authenticity have changed the hearts of many and lifted the spirits of those in the facial difference community. So that is how we have established this award. And then we ask people from our community to nominate people who embody those spirits. This award is given each year in September, and it comes with the opportunity to be a part of this committee. And as it goes forward, the award committee becomes past winners who continue to serve and help choose the winner for next year. This year, we had 30 new, amazing, deserving nominees. This is in addition to 28 unique nominations from last year. So some people were not renominated, and we want to keep nominating. And I'll touch on this in just a moment. I want to assure our audience that it is very difficult to pick one person to win this award each year, no matter how many nominees there are, especially since our nominees span categories from entertainers to educators, from surgeons to students, from researchers to regular folks, just living with good intentions and kindness. I do want to point out that before I start reading the names, that many of these nominees represent other craniofacial organizations and businesses. I really thought about putting each person's affiliation on the nomination slides that you'll see, because some of them work with so many different groups. It started becoming a little bit cumbersome and awkward for this specific format. And cumbersome and awkward might have been some of my transitions tonight. So it probably would have fit just perfectly. But I do encourage that when you leave here tonight, please look up these advocates, look up who they work with, look up the work they're doing, because they are so dedicated, incredible, and they deserve to be featured. Which is exactly why I'm excited to let all of the nominators and nominees know that next year there will be a change to the format of this process and award. Since it's so hard to pick just one person, next year we plan to add categories, and we plan to launch the award with the addition of a list, calling it as a working title, the David Roche roster. More information on this will come as we define these characteristics of this list, but we want to publish a list next year with longer bios, with longer tributes to these amazing advocates that tell more of their stories, and we have more time to share that with you. So with that said, I am ready to read the names of our nominees. First, we have 𝐷𝐴𝐿-𝐃𝐴 Dr. Alexis Johns, Avery Cooper, Brooke Parrish, Carolina Sommer, Dr. Carrie Heike, Charlotte Gould, Christine Clinton, Dr. Christopher Runyon, Dina Zuckerberg, Liz Adams, Iva Ballou, Jackson Doan, Jill Patterson, Dr. Kathleen Bogart, Lindsay Condiver, and that's lentil, Dr. Michael Goodman, Dr. Nicholas Stock, Oliver Bench, Paige Lauren Billiot, Peter Dankelson, Tiffany Kirchner, and Tony Elizabeth Wilkerson. I would love to give a huge virtual round of applause to all of our nominees. And thank you to all of our nominators for highlighting them. It was truly beautiful to read your words. Now, I would like to introduce Sora Kasuga, last year's winner, who will formally award our winner. Sora Kasuga is the recipient of the 2024 David Roche Award for Excellence in Advocacy. Sora founded the Face Out Project, which is about two things: community and activism. Their vision and hope is to create a living, breathing entity where members of the facial difference community work. Additionally, Sora is a face equality activist, writer, speaker, circus artist, and co-founder of Cirque Ovation. Their activism is fueled by the historical and present context of their many identities: Japanese American, disabled, disfigured, neurodivergent, and queer. Sora's advocacy aims to break down societal barriers and bring awareness to the human rights issues at stake for those with facial differences. Throughout their 15-year career as a performer in the entertainment industry, they have experienced firsthand the ironclad system that erases and denigrates people with visible differences, starting with the lack of positive representation for facially different people on stage, on screen, in print, and throughout the media stratosphere. In a society built on shutting down certain people and shutting them out, Sora reaches for an inclusive world that emerges stronger because of our differences, not despite them. So Sora, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Erica. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you, Khadijah and Erica, for producing this event tonight and for all of your hard work and advocacy that is 365 days a year. Also, I want to thank David for being such a bright, loving light in this world and for your decades of advocacy. My pronouns are they, them. I'm a Japanese American person with a facial difference on the left side of my face that makes my cheek broader and my eye uniquely shaped and colored. I have a poof of curls on the top of my head. I'm wearing a black t-shirt that says the word different on it. That was designed by 𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐬 Kobenko of Birthmark Society. I'm sitting in front of a white wall with a painted teal swoop on it and a partial red brick wall. It is my great honor tonight to be able to present the 2025 David Roche Award for Excellence in Advocacy. So without further ado, drum roll, please. The winner this year is Adele Capitella-Liu. There is no singular way to be an advocate. And actually, before I move on, just show Adele so much love and thank you to all the nominees for all of your advocacy and what you do and how you show up in this world. There is no singular way to be an advocate. Some people put themselves out there on social media to educate and build awareness. Others have careers that revolve around serving the communities they care about. Some people become public speakers. Adele has traveled a different path. She takes actions in the shadows, away from public view, with minimal outside support. No paychecks, little praise, just the drive to create an inclusive world that she herself had never gotten to experience before. Her passion is fed by many things: her own painful lived experiences, a dream of a better future, relentless creativity, and the will to nurture others so that they can thrive in the embrace of a community that gives space for love and belonging. Adele was nominated on so many different levels. She has been an advocate for a long time and started an online group in 2018. Seems trivial, right? It is not. Since 2018, she has been nurturing and growing this group, the Adult Facial Difference Community, on Facebook. And it has been so deeply healing for so many of us. It is a space exclusively for adults from around the world who live with facial difference. Over 500 of us. For me and so many others, the Adult Facial Difference Community was the first entry into connecting with so many others with facial difference. Members of the page feel a sense of kinship. We give and receive support. We don't feel alone. I was absolutely stunned when I found this group. It made me realize that my life experiences were shared by so many others. And I can tell you how deeply that validation changed my life. I know hundreds of others feel the same. Adele takes an active role as an administrator of this group, which, for those of you who do similar things, you know that's not an easy task. She's the glue that holds all of us together, the presence that keeps the group alive. And there's more. Adele created and led an adult facial difference retreat last year, which was a raging success. And she advocates in a myriad of other ways as well. She was part of the Face Equality International Lived Experience Working Group and is an active participant in the Face Out Project Activism Hub. During Face Equality Week this year, and on behalf of the Face Out Project, she created a workshop called Rage Writing. How awesome is that? It is both an avenue for mental health support for people in our community, and it was a fundraiser for Face Equality International. And she also started an administrator support group for anyone with a facial difference that is involved in community support or organizing. But what I really want to talk about is the heart of why Adele received a unanimous vote on becoming this year's awardee. She shows up. If a member in our community seems like they're in crisis, she reaches out. In my many, many conversations with her, she's always thinking about how to best support the community. She's always asking, how do we make sure everybody's okay? How do we protect our most vulnerable? Her warmth is contagious. She models how to be a community leader, and she brings her sense of humor and authenticity to her advocacy work. Before tonight, you might have been hard-pressed to know her name. Adele 𝐃𝐚𝐯𝐢𝐝 doesn't chase the spotlight. But now, we are all so thrilled to give her the recognition she deserves. Adele, I am so honored to be able to present you with the 2025 David Roche Award for Excellence in Advocacy. Please show her some love in the comments.
Well, thank you, Sora. You got me all choked up here. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the nominees for their tremendous work in this community. This is not just for me, it's for all of us. I am in a room full of luminaries, people that shine day in and day out to make sure our community is heard. And I think we share a bond so strong that nobody could tear us apart. Excuse me. I am a white woman, 65, wearing a floral print dress with gray hair. I'm one of the senior members of our community. But I am so humbled, and I express my sincere gratitude for this gracious award in excellence in advocacy. I extend my thanks to CCA, Erica Klaber, Annie Reeves, Kara Jackman, Sora Kasuga, Jenny Catlove, 𝐾𝐯𝐲𝐢𝐲, Rashira, and my dear friend and mentor and fellow member of our facial difference community, David Roche. Okay, I'm going to take a deep breath. So this is called Reflections, and this is how I turn pain into purpose. Rejection is a catalyst, and it moves us to new levels of understanding the human heart. For all the times I've endured unkind rejection in one form or another, I promised myself that I would take this pain that I encountered and would turn it into something positive and productive. What do I do with the pain of rejection that broke my heart into a million pieces? First and foremost was to forgive those who hurt me. Practicing forgiveness opens the heart and lessens the endless power struggle. It allows us back towards the surface, regroup, and carry on with everyday life challenges. The thing with having a facial difference is that you anticipate new traumas and new situations that will test your patience. So what else should I do to overcome my uncomfortable reality? I needed something, to fulfill a longing. With all the overthinking, self-blame, self-sabotage, and blaming the physical difference for all the unnecessary hardship, it occurred to me what was missing was community to share unique experiences with the facial difference realm. Literally changing the course of my life and filling the emptiness with power and promise for better days for our beloved members of this community. I wanted to transform lives and link people who can relate and identify with one another. I wanted to create a community of persons who understand the meaning of having a facial difference in a beauty-centered world. We too are beautiful with our support, kindness, and goodness we have for each other. So my creative light established a place on Facebook where persons with facial differences can uphold one another in their sorrows and, more importantly, in their joys. In this spirit, I created an all-inclusive community of persons with facial differences. For the longest time, we supported a total of 5 members. With steadfast persistence and determination, the group remained until others discovered this group to belong to. Slowly, we began to thrive. Many members in the group were ready and willing to share their story. We were listening and giving support. We acknowledged their experiences, gave space that was safe and sacred. We validated and never judged. We gave confirmation to deeply moving stories. Many times members within the group were seeking solutions for complicated issues that only our members can understand these unusual dilemmas. We were growing, transforming, pushing the boundaries, and closing in on something special. We began to discuss relevant issues that were specific to our community. We grapple with discussions on mental health, conquering chronic isolation and loneliness, breaking the long-held stigma of what is expected of a person with a facial difference, and changing how we are perceived. Discussion on the language used to describe us, especially in the medical world, and how that language can be harmful to our people. We moved away from the pressure to medically fix us to acceptance of who we are. Conversations of how we are portrayed in the media and how it lessens our value, and how we are often defined as villainous characters. More importantly, how we will address these issues beyond our closed discussions. Here we are, lifting the veil of ignorance. We want the world to see our humanity. The facial difference community has found its voice, and we are no longer on the sidelines. I am in true awe of the younger members who are fierce and vocal. The adults to offer support, give encouragement, and we hold a place to share our lived experiences with the younger generation. I myself am a late bloomer. Many of us grew up in a world where we kept our aches bottled up with the ferocity of a lion, not allowing anyone into a very private world. It was a generational thing. We were uncomplaining, tight-lipped, incidentally courageous, and brave. Last year, a long-held dream was realized by hosting an all-adult weekend retreat. We gathered together to break bread and embrace one another in a common bond that only few can share. For the first time this year, I had to accept the word disability as it relates to me. Having a facial difference is a disability, a hard pill to swallow. It was difficult for me as I lived my life by example. It took me a while to understand that this is a social disability. How members are at times treated less than, including me. I've always tried to forge ahead in a tough world, but I have to remember I am tough too. I'm a kid from Brooklyn, New York. At keeping with the idea of belonging, inclusion, and service to others, each of us need to be held accountable to one another. We have a moral obligation to uplift and assist when we can, and never forget who we lovingly are. As each of us blaze through the cosmos, remember the power you hold in your existence and truth. We are walking poetry, the inside stories longing to be told. At the heart of our stories is this longing, a desire and deep yearning to be loved. To be loved is deeply human and the threshold to our very existence. This love experience sometimes misses the members of this facial difference community. It challenges our mental health, our well-being, and the very ordinary need to belong to someone who is gentle, kind, and understanding, yearning for a hug of affection. This too is the core of our struggles. To know when your heart grieves and someone is there to cushion the heartache. I want to express my deep love to all of you. I see you, I hear you, and I love you beyond measure. Taking the painful rejection to form a reality of forgiveness, love, and understanding and acceptance. We embrace this community with its strong voice that tells the world we are here. We are part of this intricate fabric we call life. In the next few days, weeks, and months, I want to challenge you to consider one thing. Consider one thing you can do to make a difference, to make this world a better place. I love you all, and I am so deeply grateful for everything that this community stands for. Thank you.
That was so beautiful, Adele. Thank you. I know I got to read a bit of it before, but hearing you say it and speak it was truly, truly moving. Thank you so much for sharing that reflection with us. And I just want to highlight that we are so grateful that we got to award you this award. You are so deserving, and you have done so much for the community, both over time and recently. So thank you and congratulations. We're so happy that you were with us. Absolutely. Adele, you have just joined a wonderful committee that includes Sora, Aaliyah, Jazz, Rashira, and our posthumous awardees, PJ Rainafare and Scott Guzzo. This community is definitely looking out for the next winner, but not just the winners of the award, for the people doing the work, as I said, who are striving together. And each of you represents something so unique. Even the people who spoke tonight all brought something different parts of our community that shine and that encourage us, that give us courage, that lift us up, that correct us and encourage us to grow where needed. All of these things are welcomed. All of these things are needed. And you in our audience, you have a place as well in this community. We want you all to know that. And we are here to help you. And we hope that you're here to help us just grow in this advocacy movement. So thank you to everyone who joined us tonight, who commented, who watched, who submitted a nomination, and who just is a part of our amazing community. I mean, I have to say there are struggles, but it's pretty great to be a part of the facial difference community because I've never met better people in any other community I'm a part of. Maybe I'm a little biased. But we absolutely look forward to continuing this tradition each year of recognizing truly amazing individuals for their work in the facial difference community as advocates. We plan to open the 2026 nominations earlier next year so we can get that list going and be ready, sign up for our email so that you can be notified when that opens, probably around May. And we just want to continue to lift up the amazing voices in our community and the people who are in front of the camera, behind the scenes, the parents, the caregivers, the medical professionals who make life possible to not just survive, but to truly thrive. Thank you, David, for being our inspiration and for being our generational leader. And thank you all for holding the spaces that you hold and making it possible to love this community even more than I didn't even know I could love it more. But I do after tonight. Thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful evening.